could put in words how good you make me feel. I'd probably shock and surprise myself. But I got to tell somebody about how good you are to me. I can't keep it to myself.
Welcome, everyone. This is a place where you not only can smell good and look good, but now we want you to feel healthy and start changing your mindset about what you are putting into your body and your temple. So today, as a special treat and as part of the celebration of Women's History Month, we have a special cooking demonstration by a fabulous sister that creates all different types of vegetarian dishes and practically anything. You name it, Barbara can do it. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Barbara Peters Smith, or affectionately known as BPS. Sister in the house. Look out, B. Smith. We've got BPS, Barbara Peters Smith, a Long Island girl in the house.
Hey.
Hey.
All right. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, and welcome all of you. Those I've spoken with some of you already briefly, and feel free to have a seat. And I'm going to actually talk about from the first demonstration what we discussed about. I had questions. I'd like you to feel free to ask me any questions you might have. Actually, you already have started asking me some questions. I am a vegan. I do not engage in eating meat or dairy of any sort. And it's not because of any religious beliefs, it's just because that's my choice. I grew up around meat. I do cook meat, but I just don't eat it. I do know how to cook it because I never lost my touch for cooking it. I've been a vegan for over 30 years now. So that is why. One of the reasons was because I used to suffer with tremendous migraine headaches. And I went to a nutritionist, and the nutritionist told me to take the dairy out of my diet. I was also an asthmatic. I was also having severe migraine headaches day and night. I would go to bed with the migraine, get up with the migraine. I couldn't stand to hear a person walk across the floor. It bothered me. My mother would have to come and get me from school because I just couldn't function. I had to be isolated in a dark room until it subsided because no medication helped. I've been on all types of different medication for it, and I didn't want to become addicted to it because I was told by several doctors that that medication could be habit forming. And I, at an early age, didn't want to depend on headache medication. So I just dealt with it until I ran into this woman who is a nutritionist, and she also does things through the natural way. So with that being said, I started eliminating. One day I just sat down actually with chicken. And I love chicken. That was my last meat that I engaged in, and fish. And for some reason, I used to eat chicken every day. I had to have chicken. I was a KFC girl. And I had to have that 2-piece on the weekend was my treat. The breast, the head, or the wing. And I just sat down one day and started to eat and couldn't eat it. Just couldn't eat it. I don't know, it was nothing wrong with it. I just lost my appetite just like that. And fish, excuse me, I was always sort of a squeamish person. Someone could describe something bad, and I would lose my appetite. So that's what happened with fish. I was eating and someone described something that wasn't too tasteful, and I made this meal for everyone. And after everyone had eaten, I had stood up and fed everyone. And I sat down finally to eat, and this person decided that was the time to talk about it, and I just lost my desire for fish. So then I had nothing left but the dairy. So in going to see the nutritionist, she said, take the dairy out of your diet because it's causing you to have these headaches, it's causing you to have the migraines severely, it's causing you to have your asthma attacks. My son was also an asthmatic, so I tried it on myself first because I said, I'll be the guinea pig, and I tried it on him. And it worked for both of us. He was, I think the last asthma attack he had, he must have been maybe 9, and he's now 27.
Wow.
And,
Big difference.
you know, the last one I had was a long time before that, and I won't say how old I am now. But in any case, it's been a while. So that's why I only eat, you know, vegetables, fruits, things like that. But as you all know, there's so much to eat besides meat. Meat is just one small thing on your plate. So I don't miss it. I cook it for my husband, whatever he likes. I can cook it for anyone else. I do all the time when I do, you know, meals for other people, what have you. But my choice is just stay this way. Probably if I had meat now, it would probably kill me. But I like it. As you see, I'm not skin and bones. So, you know, it doesn't cause you to be frail or anything of that nature. But what I will say about it, that it's much healthier, and every time I go to the doctor to get a physical, I always pass with flying colors. I tend to heal very quickly if anything happens to me. I don't remember the last year I had a cold. I don't take flu shots, I don't do any of that, and I'm never sick, thank God. And I think that has a lot to do with it. And you know, my stamina, I have a lot of energy, a lot of stamina. You know, I do cement, I do everything. And I think a lot of it has to do with all of these vitamins that I get through, you know, the types of foods. Now, if any of you have any questions about you know, being a vegan, I'm not trying to convert you into being a vegan. I'm not advocating that. I'm just sharing with you my personal lifestyle and my personal experience as just one of many things. You know, I don't knock anyone's choice of eating. You know, like I said, I do it. I cook it for my husband and my family and friends and parties and things like that. So it doesn't bother me. I'm not going to say, ooh, you shouldn't be eating that. I'm not that type of person. So, enough about me. If you have any questions regarding being a vegan or vegan styles or anything of that nature, and then we can also talk about some of the foods that some of you have tasted that I've prepared here today as samples of different types of food, and to let you know there's such a wide variety that you can choose to eat that's healthy for you, such as a salad. I like putting a lot of stuff in my salad. I like putting a lot of things in my soup. And I use organic vegetables, organic seasonings, and things of that nature. There are some seasonings like dried seasonings, for instance, like these chives. I might use this particular brand and that I really like because I find it's more closer to being, you know, the way I, you know, closer to organic.
Tastier.
Right. Tastier. It seems to be more potent, and they seem to take more care. Because I'm a very particular person about how something looks, the cleanliness of it, and that type of thing. I'm the type of person who likes to cook. One reason I like to cook is because when I go in a restaurant, I have to look the people over first. To see, you know, if they don't look right, and I'll go in the store and I even look in the, you know, the showcase up there where they have, and if it's dust and things like that, I'm not buying anything. I will only buy certain things. I'm very, very particular about that type of thing. So cleanliness is also, that's why I don't like to eat in restaurants, you know, unless I know you, because I don't know what you're doing behind the scenes. So the way I cook for myself is the same pride I take in how I cook for someone else, like it's for me. You know, I scrub my fingernails, I scrub my hands when I'm cooking, preparing. I don't like touching things. I have, you know, even for my, at home I have motion sensor things, so I don't have to touch things when I'm cooking. And when I cook something for someone, you can rest assured it's clean. And that's one of the things I pride myself in my style. So, I believe you had a question.
Oh, I don't know if this has to do with being vegan or not, but what about this gluten-free stuff?
Well, there's some gluten. I mean, if you have an allergy, some people have allergies to gluten. I mean, it doesn't seem to bother me, but I try not to use a lot of it simply because I don't want to rebound on asthma or anything like that. You hear so many things about it, but I use some of it, but and some I don't. I try to stick with 100% whole wheat, such as these wraps. They're 100% whole wheat, rather than using bleached flour or white sugar. I use raw sugar, or sugar in the raw, as some people say. I use the whole wheat bread or whole wheat wraps. I like the pumpernickel, you know, rye, things like that. I will use in breads. And I find that's a lot better. I feel a lot better.
Yeah.
When I use just the regular wraps, it feels like I'm weighted down, that it's all of that dough and you know all of the white flour. So I use all-purpose flour, but it has to be unbleached. And the sugar, I'm positive that white sugar definitely has a bad effect on it. I think they're absolutely correct. So, you know, if you use it, I say if you use anything sparingly, or if you use something and you cut back on it a little bit, anything you do to help yourself is better than not doing so. Because people talk about white potatoes. I love Idaho potatoes, and I'm going to die eating them, you know, because I love them. But I don't go to McDonald's anymore, you know, to get those fries, because they have fillers in them. You know, if I'm going to make fries, I make my own fries. I put them in the oven, I bake them, I use olive oil, garlic, and they are simply delicious. You know, you put them in there and you don't have to eat. So I'm helping myself by not getting the greasy fries, you know, and I only put a tiny bit of olive oil, extra virgin olive oil on them, and it's much better for you. You feel better. When you eat it, you know, because I need, by being a vegan, I need something substantial. I can't survive off of just salad. I don't know, no matter what you put in it. So I need something substantial. So I eat potatoes and things like that. And I seem to be just fine. I mean, whenever I get from soup to nuts, the list of tests, this, that, you know, stress tests, get on the bike, what have you. The doctors all say, they say, wow, my cholesterol is that of a child, they say.
That's no problem.
I think my cholesterol last time it was 123. But the time before that was 119. So I fluctuate between those two.
Now, where do you shop? Do you buy this stuff? Do you buy locally, or do you?
I buy locally, and I raise in the summer. I grow a lot of my own herbs.
Okay.
I grow broccoli, tomatoes. So I go out and pick my own tomatoes. I even had apples. I pick my own apples off the tree. Now I'm growing another apple tree. I like to go to the farms where you pick fresh strawberries, figs, you know, things like that. Whatever's in season at the time, apple picking, you know, that's such a wonderful.
They have a farmer's market in Roosevelt. It hasn't started back up again, but they buy everything from out in Long Island, and they sell it there, and they got the kids from the community
I go
working
to the farmers market.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, I even planted potatoes last year, and they came up in a pot.
Oh, really?
They did.
Okay. What is your favorite vegan dish?
Oh, as far as a dish, that would be a hard one, because I like so many things. I'm a foodie, you know, when it comes to what would I like? Ooh, that would be a hard one. I guess if I had to choose, I'd have to break it up. As far as an individual item, it would be a potato.
Okay.
I'll eat a potato raw. When I'm cooking them, I cut a few pieces and put them to the side. I will eat them like that. I love potatoes.
Okay.
If they're mashed, if they're scalloped, if they're baked, if they're thrown in the grill, whatever you do to them, I love potatoes. And for me, potato is such a staple because you can do so many things with it. You can make rosemary and garlic potatoes. You can have a stuffed potato, a meal in one. I take a potato, bake it, and I split it open in the middle and load it up with veggies in the center. Broccoli and potato. You can do so much.
First, I want to congratulate you for your skin, because you can tell when someone is vegan. You can tell because you don't age as fast as someone who's eating a lot of meat. You were talking about the whole wheat flour. So, like for instance, if someone comes to you and says, "Okay, I'm allergic to gluten," because sometimes the whole wheat has gluten. Do you consider that, or?
I always try and ask, especially if I'm going to do something for a group. If I do something for an individual, even if the group or an individual, I'll back up and say, I usually ask, do you have any dietary concerns that I need to know about? And then I'll make a note of it. I have not been doing this very long. I was doing a different type of job prior to, but these type of things here have always been my passion, and I've always done it on the side. So, I'm one of those people, one of the many whose job was, you know, I was laid off. My company closed, and I decided, you know, prayed about it, and I just decided to go for it. It's something I've always been doing, so why not?
Right.
People have always asked me about it, so
You turn your passion into
yes,
business.
yes.
Good.
Will a restaurant be next?
Well, who knows? I have so many thoughts in mind, you know. I'm just being prayerful and taking it, you know, a step at a time. Some leaps and some steps, you know.
Yes.
We have a question right here.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, could you tell me what a typical day is for you in terms of breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
Okay, as far as eating. Okay.
That's a good question.
Okay, usually in the mornings, I try to eat every single morning. So in the mornings I like to start off with steel cut oatmeal. And I eat not just the oatmeal, because I like to use everything on my oatmeal. I don't like anything boring. To me it's boring if it's just plain. Now if that's your choice, that's your choice. But for me, that's boring for me. So I'll have steel cut oatmeal. I'll put pile it up with blueberries, whatever I have in the house that I like. Blueberries, bananas, raisins. I put a little bit on cinnamon, wheat germ. I throw all of that on there. Apples, and that's what I have. So it's a fantastic meal. I'm full because by being vegan, I have to eat a substantial amount of food, and I eat 5-6 times a day.
Me too.
But it's in small increments. I can't eat a lot at once, but I eat, you know, all through the day. And then if I'm going someplace, which is usually every day, I always take things in the car with me, so I don't have to stop at a place that I shouldn't be eating that type of food, because it always makes me feel bad when I eat it. So for lunch, I may have some leftovers from the night before. If it was something that I really loved, I might eat it again. I might even eat it for breakfast, depending on how I feel.
Was there a snack in between?
Yes, usually a snack. I'll usually have fruit, and I always grab a handful of tangerines, or I'll take a banana in the car. I'll take grapes or nuts. Sometimes I'll take a combination of all. Sometimes I'll make a trail mix, so it's something I can grab and eat without making a mess, and I take that with me. I always have a bottle of water with me. And I eat that type of thing. For dinner, I can have anything from a baked potato with broccoli or mixed vegetables on it. I might have an eggless pasta salad. You know, with the pasta salad, I might include nuts. I might include apples, whatever I feel like throwing in there. Because I cook by how I feel at the time. You know, I just like to experiment and see how did that taste. Well, I know how that tastes, so I know how that tastes. They should taste good together, so I'll just throw them together and try it. I might make a vegan pizza. Now that is something delicious. I make a very thin crust, whole wheat pizza crust. I like the thin because that way you don't have as much dough to deal with, and it's whole wheat. I pile it on with, I like black olives, I like broccoli, I like corn, and I take the corn off the cob, a fresh ear of corn, and I cook that separately, and then I pile all of that on my pizza. Now I make my own tomato sauce. So I'll make the sauce separately. Sometimes I'll put the veggies in with the sauce so I get to cook 2 in 1. And then I put my broccoli on there and I put it in the oven and bake it for a few minutes. It's absolutely delicious. My only problem is I have to buy the small one, because if I buy the large one, I eat all of it. That's the only thing. And that's usually my daily thing. I like greens, so I'll usually have, I love those little, I like cabbage and
Brussels sprouts.
Brussels sprouts,
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? The little bitty ones. I can eat a whole pack of them. I don't cook a few. I take that little container and I cook the whole thing. And I eat all of it. So I pile my plate up with broccoli, because I can eat broccoli every single day. So I pile my plate up with broccoli. I love rice also, so I have a small portion of rice. I'm not going to deny myself something unless it's something that's really going to make me ill. If I like it, I could just cut down on how much I eat. Like I'll have a small portion of rice, pile my plate up with the broccoli, I'll have Brussels sprouts on there, I might have artichokes, I might have mushrooms. I put all of it on my plate, and then I'll have the small item that they say is bad for you, I only have a small amount of that. So that way I get the best of both worlds.
So you have a cookbook to go with that, or what?
You're actually the second person that asked me that. And see, I cook with a lot of one of the things I was thinking about when I was thinking of what am I going to call myself, what am I going to name myself, and then I thought about the name, and then I thought about what would I put on my apron when I do this, and I thought about a tablespoon of love.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, a tablespoon of love, a pinch of, of caring, a dash of good taste.
Okay.
And I was going to do it in the way of ingredients, but putting in there the contents of the food. First you have to have love. To me,
always,
because when you cook food and you share it with others, you want them to feel the love. There's a difference when a person cooks with love and when a person just cooks. It's just like you see a person that sings when they sing from the heart, and there's a person who learned how to sing. There's a difference in it. You feel it when they sing and close their eyes. You feel it. So that's how I am about my cooking and other things. I asked God, I said, why did you, I don't know, and I wasn't questioning him in a bad way, but just to say, I wonder, why did you give me all these things that I can do? Because usually when you say you can do this, you can do that, usually it's a jack of all trade and a master of none. Yeah. But I am truly blessed that I can back up what I say. I like to sing, I do sing, and this is not about my resume or anything, but I'm just sharing with you the type of person I am that all constitutes what I'm doing here. I like to see the smile on a person's face. I like honesty when people tell me, that was good, it wasn't good. I can take that because it just makes me improve on doing it better the next time. Or if you say you have a dietary concern, or you have that, like I know my particular friends, like I know Terry doesn't like olives. I know my other friend who's here, I know she doesn't like hummus. I know another friend who won't eat vegetables. If I make a salad like this with the raw vegetables, I take some on the side for her and make her salad separately.
You make hummus?
Yes.
Yeah. See, every time I tasted it, it's too much garlic in it. Does it have to have?
No.
Okay, we gotta talk.
You don't have to make. You don't have to. I don't like a lot of garlic. First of all, in hummus, and garlic is something that I had to get used to because they say it's so good for you, and high blood pressure runs in my family.
I love it.
But I do not put it in everything. But I do like garlic, but I don't put it in my hummus because to me it's too overwhelming for hummus.
Yeah, that's
But I do use onions, and I love onions.
All right, we gotta talk.
I love onions. Onions is
a lot of people do eat meat. They will say, you don't eat meat? Oh my God. You don't eat fish? What do you eat? So, I mean, what can you say in terms of variety of food you can eat as a vegan?
Okay, first I say to them, which usually when you say that to people, when people say that to me, I don't know why it is, but everyone, it's not just some, but everyone thinks that the only thing, I'll back up and say, when I go, if I had the times I've gone to a restaurant, job I used to be forced to go out to restaurants because I had to entertain clients and take them different. So so I stick with the safe stuff. First thing I'm asking for is a baked potato. A lot of restaurants, believe it or not, didn't have a baked potato. So I was forced to a salad. That's all and you say, well, what do you have? I'm a vegan, and I try to whisper it and be discreet about it, and they'll say, oh, she's a vegan. They don't know what they have even taken me in the back to talk to chefs. To try to tell the chef what to do. A chef had me back there reading a box to see what was on it that I could have, I couldn't have. But what I say to them is, when you eat a meal, and I say, please take this, don't take this as an insult. I'm just asking you questions in answer to your question. When you eat your dinner, what's a typical dinner for you? And then they'll say, I'll have a pork chop, I'll have a steak, I have a piece of fish. I said, and what else is on your plate? And then they tell me. I say, I eat all of that. I said, I eat the same thing you eat except the meat.
That's it.
So, I mean, there's potatoes, there's rice, there's everything, soup to nuts. So that I eat everything. It's just that I don't eat it I don't eat anything that has touched meat. Like if that
String
platter,
beans with fat back and all
no.
that stuff.
And if that platter, if they had meat wraps on there next to that, I wouldn't eat it.
Right.
I won't eat it. It can't touch.
Them wraps are good.
Yeah.
You know, meat cannot be in the same dish
That's like kosher.
with the feet. I mean, with the feet, with the sandwiches, the plain vegan sandwiches. They can't touch. Like same thing with the cutlery. I use a different knife for my vegetables. I have a different cutting board for my vegetables. I use another cutting board for my husband.
If I could put in words how good you make me feel, I'd probably shock and surprise myself. But I got to tell somebody about how good you are to me. I can't keep it to myself.